Welcome to the Inner Whisper, your sacred pause to come back to yourself. I'm Vane. Thank you once again for being here with me, for closing this week together. We started this week talking about my experience at Tony Robbins' summit and a few things he mentioned that really resonated with me. We started talking about returning to the inner world, about how attention shapes where energy flows. And today, I want to close the week with something even more essential: meaning. Because there comes a point on the inner path where awareness alone is not enough, where better focus is not enough. There comes a moment when we have to ask, what meaning am I giving to what I lived? Today, I want to sit with an idea that can be deeply transformative when we're ready for it. That life is not happening against us, but for us. And I want to say this carefully, not to justify pain, not to romanticize hardship, not to deny what hurt or what was missing, but to invite a different question. What if what you lived, your trauma, your pain, even the hardest parts, was not meaningless? This whisper is not here to force answers. It's here to create space. So if you're in a moment of integration, of reflection, of wanting to see your story more clearly, this whisper is for you. For a long time, the story I told myself about my life was simple. My life was shaped by my mother's alcoholism, by neglect, by the lack of guidance, by not having a model to reflect myself in. That was real, that was painful, and it left scars. Out of that came insecurity, perfectionism, a constant need to achieve, to prove, to succeed. And yes, I did succeed in many ways, but something still felt unfinished. The real shift did not happen until I began doing inner work. That's when I saw something I could not see before. If I had not lived that life, if I had not experienced my mother's alcoholism, I wouldn't be here. Not because what happened was good, not because the pain was justified, but because it shaped me. It gave me depth, sensitivity, a deep inner search. Questions many people never asked themselves. But of course, that understanding only comes after, never while still inside the pain. And that's why I want to be very clear here. This whisper is not for someone who's living active trauma. It's for those who have already begun looking inward and are ready to ask a different question. Not why it happened to me, but What grew in me because of what I lived? Your story doesn't disappear. Your pain isn't erased because you start asking these questions. What changes is where your attention lives now. In the past, in what happened to you, or in the present, where you can create what you want for yourself. I'll be honest, for a long time, my attention stayed with what was missing, what hurt, what never was. And that focus slowly drained my energy and my direction. But when attention shifts, something fundamental changes. From damage to learning, from wound to resource, from lack to the strength that emerged there. And suddenly the past is something you build from. I'm not saying to just see everything positively, no. I'm saying something more grounded. When you recognized what was forged in you through what you lived, you can use that strength to create the life that you want. And that's why I want to share these 3 paths to reframe or to start reframing your story. Just questions you can walk with. The first path, acknowledge what was real. Before meaning, there has to be honesty. So sit down with yourself, acknowledge how much you suffer, how much it hurt, how much you would have liked it differently. Not minimizing, not bypassing, just starting a conversation with it. You may ask yourself, what still hurts when I name it? What was genuinely hard for me? Naming it is not relieving it, it's organizing it. It's having a dialogue with it. Second path, noticing what that experience developed in you. This is part of the inner work itself. Not thanking the pain, not forcing positivity, no. Just changing the question. Instead of what happened to me, ask, what did I have to develop to survive that? Maybe resilience, sensitivity, emotional intelligence, or strength that you may take for granted now. Make that list. And doing that doesn't erase the past, but it allows you to see yourself not only as someone who was hurt, but as someone who was shaped. And the third path, directing that strength forward. This path looks ahead. With everything you have lived and everything you have developed, where do you want to direct your life now? What are your goals? What are your dreams? You have the strength to do it. But you have to empower yourself and get out of the victim state. No, life doesn't happen to you. It happens for you. And let me tell you, purpose doesn't always arrive as a dramatic calling. Sometimes it's just an idea, a steady pull toward creating, contributing, growing. When your inner resources, your tools, stop orbiting the wound and start orienting toward creation, something changes. Your story stops being a sentence and becomes a compass, a roadmap, a future. Now let's integrate all this with the breath of lights. Find a comfortable position. Place your feet on the ground, feeling supported. Relax your shoulder, relax your jaw. Close your eyes if you can gently. And let's do our first breath. Inhale deeply, making space for your whole story. And exhale, releasing the tension of carrying it alone. Second breath. Inhale deeply, acknowledging the strength that grew in you. And exhale, sensing that it is still there. Third breath. Inhale, looking forward. And exhale, confirming quietly, I can use all that I am to create my next life. Let your breath return naturally. And the thing today, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. Not everything that happened in your life was fair, but you can choose where you stand now. Life is not asking you to forget. It's not asking you to justify what hurt. It's inviting you, when you are ready, to use who you have become to shape what comes next. And as Viktor Frankl said, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves, to become that person that we want to be. We have the power. So I want to leave you with this mantra. Say it out loud or just feel its energy. What happened to me doesn't define me. What I choose to do with it does. Thank you again for joining me in the Inner Whisper. Please, if you like it, subscribe to my channel, The Inner Light Path. Like it. Share it. You can also read me on Substack at thelightpath.substack.com. I hope you all have an amazing weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Until then, love deeply, shine brightly, and embrace yourself and your journey. Ciao.